Do you want me to skip then?
Yeah, go ahead, second paragraph. So the argument.
If you wanted it.
Are you ready?
Yeah. So the argument has by a different course reached the same point. But we must try to state this even more clearly, since there are evidently more than one end, and we choose some of these, for example, wealth, flutes, and in general instruments,
Or possessions, marriage, money.
for the sake of something else. Clearly not all ends are final ends, but the chief good is evidently something final.
Pause. Do you see how he makes that jump? That's what makes Aristotle hard. We're following him, he's awesome, and then he says the most super important thing, he doesn't say why he says it. And that's just like his intelligence. He's just like, obviously, or that the chief good is evidently something final. You're like,
So that's what you were talking about, that's limitless.
Yeah.
The chief good is something limitless.
Yeah. Okay.
Therefore, if there is only one final end, this will be what we are seeking. And if there are more than one, the most final of these will be what we are seeking. Now we call that which is in itself worthy of pursuit more final than that which is worthy of pursuit for the sake of something else.
Can you think of it? Now we call that which is in itself worthy of pursuit. So I just do it for its own sake.
Okay. And that which is never desirable for the sake of something else, more final than the things that are desirable both in themselves and for the sake of that other thing. And therefore we call final.
Here's
Without
the definition.
qualification.
We call final, without qualification, that which is always
Desirable in itself and never for the sake of something else.
Okay. So he basically, all he's going after, he's defining that idea of final.
Now such a thing, happiness above all else, is held to be. For this we choose always for self, and never for the sake of something else. But honor, pleasure, reason, and every virtue we choose indeed for themselves. For if nothing resulted from them, we should still choose each of them. But we choose them also for the sake of happiness, judging that by means of them we shall be happy. Happiness, on the other hand, no one chooses for the sake of these, nor, in general, for anything other than itself.
Okay, that's a really important thing. You guys see what he just said? The highest goal of life is
Happiness.
And how did he prove it?
Well, he's saying that we choose the other things for self, but for the sake of happiness.
Good job. Keep working at it. Keep saying it.
Well, you don't choose it for other reasons, but for your own. Like you don't want honor because like honor is bringing glory to someone else. You're choosing it for your own good, for your own happiness.
Yep.
Like my self-honor is going to make me happy. It's not because I'm trying to achieve it for something else.
Which of these two is right? Which of these two makes sense?
But the second one.
Yeah. That's what he's trying to say.
So I want honor so that I can be happy.
Honor, intelligence, skill,
I want
money, body.
pleasure.
I never say, I wish I had happiness so that I could.
Be honorable.
That if I only had happiness, I would have a beautiful wife. If I only had a beautiful wife, then I'd be happy. So he's like, okay, between them, the thing that seems like it's the chief thing that commands the whole triangle of everyone's life is happiness. It's a pretty bold statement. He's saying, so there's two things that you've learned so far in this class. One is what's called the hierarchy of goods. That little pyramid that I created. And the second is the sense that of what we call finality. The more a thing is reached for its own sake, the higher a good it is. The supreme goal of all actions in life will be the one, therefore, that is only chosen for its own sake and never in order to achieve something else. Then this guy is so gutsy that he's like, this is happiness. Oh my gosh. Again, look at how like masculine this guy is. He's actually telling you about reality. It's so cool. Philosophers today don't do that. They're like, well, we really don't know what things are, but if we could measure them by an examination, we might have a theory that could be disproved. Maybe it might say something right. And Aristotle's like, I just told you the meaning of life. And I did it in a page and a half. You exist to be happy.
Does he like define happiness?
Yes, that's what's even better. Just wait till he gets going. Where was he? Happiness. He does, that's what he's going to do next. The next paragraph he's going to say, now, what does it mean to be happy? And he's going to nail it. Sorry. Wow, that was dramatic. This is why the Nicomachean Ethics, this book, is a book that shaped an entire culture. It's because it stood for something. It said something. And what it said was so right. It dovetails perfectly with the Bible. There's nothing like... When Thomas Aquinas read Aristotle, they say he baptized him. The idea is that he took Aristotle's writing. He's like, this makes so much sense to me. Jesus saying, whoever would come after me must abandon mother and father, children, lands, for my sake and for the sake of the gospel. What's he saying? He's saying there's something better. Better than children and lands? Yep, me. I am the supreme good. When he says that, he's actually saying I'm God. Because he said, I'm actually a stronger end than a family. So he looks at Peter and he says, follow me. So now all of a sudden, as a theologian using this, I could say, oh, Jesus is actually saying he's bigger than everything in the world. Supreme category. See how that is? And then you're like, well, what does that look like? And he's like, Jesus was crucified. He lost his clothes. He lost his health. He lost his friends. He lost all to show us that the biggest things in life isn't success. Biggest things in life is faithfulness to God. It's supreme good. And so he's like, this totally makes sense to me. But the point I want to make to you is he didn't know Jesus, this Aristotle, who died 400 years before Christ was even born. But look at how firmly he says things. Wouldn't it be neat if you and I had that same audacity to actually say things? I do know the meaning of life. It's Jesus Christ. I do know what love is. I do know what men are. I do know what women are. I could always know them better. I could always learn more, but I'm not going to act like I don't know. So, kind of cool. Okay, so he's going to get into it, but it's 9 o'clock. We've reached the end of our course. This next class, I want you to look at this, because then he starts to define it. What do I want you to get out of this? Look at those 2 points. You should try it. So if you want, what are these 2 points? These 2 points are objective morality. Aristotle's like smashing relativism to bits. Who are you to say that's wrong, Dad? Smoking ganja? In Colorado, it's legal. Well, I can reason about it. I can look at the hierarchy of goods. I say, will this help you have a healthy body? Will this help you have a clean mind? Which is better, this or working out? Working out. Well, then I'll outlaw this so that can keep you to work out. Because I found a hierarchy of goods. And the second is that hierarchy is based on this principle of finality, which is that the thing being done for its own sake is more final than a thing that's done for the sake of something else. You rest in it. And he says, that's happiness. So now what exactly it is, he's going to even stun you more. Next week, we'll look at that. Or I think Monday or Thursday.